Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I've decided to do what I did last year, I believe, and the year before that. Get all of the players in the Arsenal squad right now, put them into a graphic like this, and just play around with some ideas. I know you guys love these types of videos as well. Let me know if you want me to do more, maybe some other teams. But today, of course, we're going to focus on Arsenal. We are playing tonight against Southampton. I'm doing another watch-along live right now. So if you're watching this video, at the end of this video, once you've finished watching it, please do check out my Twitch stream. I'm live right now, and we're going to do a live watch-along of the game. I cannot wait to lose to Southampton. But yeah, so my Twitch is twitch.tv/officialmgh. The link will be down below. But what we're going to do, you can see in the top left corner, I've given myself a nice round number of 40 million. I think we're potentially going to have a little bit more than that, but just why not? 40 million, that's how much we're going to have this summer, which is ridiculous, by the way, considering a Neymar is 200 million and, you know, just someone relatively decent in today's market is going to cost you 50, 60, 70 million. It's pretty ridiculous that we're only going to go into the market with potentially 40, I think it's 45, maybe. Apparently, we were on track to have around 80, but because of COVID-19 and because of the loan deals and just, I mean, extraordinary scenarios or situations that we found ourselves in, that we've just not got any money this summer. So we will have to sell players to make room. So, yeah, this isn't scripted or anything. I'm just going to play around, really, and talk through my thoughts. This is the squad we have right now. The first thing you need to do is clear up the squad, right? We need to get rid of players that are no longer needed, make some money on the wages. I've decided not to show a wage tracker because it's impossible to know what we're really spending. But of course, first of all, Ceballos, who hasn't been terrible for us, but hasn't really done enough. He's, of course, going to finish the rest of this season and then go back to Real Madrid. So he is gone. That frees up some money on the wages next season. But of course, we drop a player in midfield. And we're already a little bit light in midfield, if you're asking me. So he's gone. I think the likelihood... Let's talk about strikers, because of course, everyone is talking about Aubameyang and Lacazette. Who are we going to be playing with next season? Are both going to go? Is one of them going to go? I think the answer is yes, one of them is going to leave. My priority, remember this video is completely my opinion. You might disagree. My priority will be Aubameyang. Keep him at all costs, even if it is just one extra year. Time down to a 2-year contract and say to him, look, just stay one more year and then we can move you along next summer, as long as it's not for free. We've made this mistake with Ramsey most recently. We cannot afford to lose players for free. Sign Aubameyang on an extra year, just a 2-year deal. And then next summer, we let him go unless we win the Champions League or something like that. So in my opinion, we let Lacazette go. So with Lacazette leaving, and there are reports that he would go to somewhere like Atletico Madrid, which is where he was going to go, I believe, before he came to Arsenal. But let's just say we get around 35 million for Lacazette, something like that. Or should I tell you what? Let's go even less, just to show how possible we could still do some good work in this transfer window. So let's just say we're now up to around 70 million. Of course, we're a player down, and we've also just saved, I think, around 150 to 200,000 per week, because Lacazette is a very expensive player to have on your books. I would not change this front. Is it 6 now? Yeah, so this front 6, we've got Saka on the left, Martinelli, Aubameyang, and then you've got Nketiah, who would have to step in for Lacazette, Pepe, and Nelson. So that's how I would achieve a balanced forward 6. I think that is absolutely fine. We've got some right-sided players, some left-sided players, and we've got players that can play through the middle. And most importantly, when Martinelli's fit again next season, I would actually like to see him do what Lacazette has done, and that's play through the middle every now and again. But of course, he is typically more of a left-sided player. But if Aubameyang's injured, we've got Nketiah and we've got Martinelli. They are more than capable as playing strikers. And I guess you could throw Pepe up front as well. He has played there before. Moving on into midfield, I think it's very, very unlikely we would be able to sell Mesut Ozil because his wages are extreme. So if we were to, say, sell him to Fenerbahce, I believe he's been linked with, we would have to contribute to his wages. I honestly think we are better off just letting him play down his contract at this point. It's a ridiculous amount of money. We might as well use him for one more season. Or do we just cut our losses? It's going to cost us money to actually get rid of him, which is, it's never a good situation. in my opinion, Mesut Ozil still has qualities. Of course, he's still a very, very good player on his day. He's just very inconsistent and clearly doesn't fit into a lot of the systems that we've used over the years. But if it's going to cost us money to get rid of him, yes, it'll save money in the long run. But right now, we are not in a position to pay to get rid of a player, or have a player go to Fenerbahce for free and then just contribute to his wages. We might as well use him, even if it is 10 to 20 times throughout the 60 games that we're going to play. That's fine by me. So actually, I would keep him. I would keep Willock in the first team picture. I think he's ready. Torreira, absolutely fine by me as well. Great player. Hasn't been getting into the team enough. I would love to see more of him. Granit Xhaka, I mean, there were so many reports that he was going to go in January. He, of course, stayed. As soon as Arteta came along, he managed to get him playing in a much better way. He was really doing well for us. Guendouzi, of course, stays. I think we keep Ozil, like I said. And Maitland-Niles, you know what? I'm a little bit... I'm unsure on Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I don't know if he's ever going to be quite that level we're looking for, but he's a great, versatile player to have. He's a squad player. He can play at right back, right mid, right wing, centre mid, central defensive midfield. He could do everything, and he provides another English player as well. Now, yeah, that sounds bad, but it's a thing in football. You need to have a certain amount of English players in your squad in the Premier League, and he is one of our English core players. Getting rid of him might mean we have to bring in another English player, although we do have quite a few on our books right now. Saka is another one that's really promising, and Ketia, Nelson. We have Zek Medley as well. I haven't got him included in this because he's not really a first-team player. But yeah, there's another one for you. But let's go into defence. Now, Kolasinac is a difficult one because he isn't good enough for Arsenal. He is mistake-prone. He's not very well defensively rounded. He's much better going forward. But if we're going to get rid of him, we have to bring in another left-back. And there really aren't that many available I can think of. So quite honestly, even though he's on a relatively high wage, we signed him for free when at the time it would have been maybe 20, 30 million to sign him. I think it hasn't been a bad signing, but it hasn't been great. He's had moments where I thought he's really good, and there's moments where I think he's absolutely shocking. But Tierney is my go-to left-back, and I would have Kolasinac as the backup. I don't think there's a real issue there. I think if we were in a better situation monetarily, then yeah, I would absolutely bite the bullet, sell Kolasinac and bring in another left-back. But I just don't think we're in that mode right now. I don't think we can afford to do it. We then have Pablo Mari, who we've just signed on a 4-year deal permanently. Of course, he's injured for a few months, but the few minutes I've seen of him, the few games, he looks pretty decent. We've then got Holding. I'm very 50-50 on him, another English player, but just hasn't really done anything for us. Every now and again, we see what he's capable of, but then he gets injured or he can't get into the team. We've then got David Luiz, who 2 weeks ago, or actually no, a week ago, after the City game, in this video, he would have gone. Absolutely would have been a sell, but he's just signed an extra year, so he is here to stay. We've then got Mustafi, Socrates, Chambers, Cedric, who we've just signed on a 4-year deal as well, and then Hector Bellerin. So quite honestly, we've got too many defenders. We really do. So for me, Socrates, I would sell, and let's just say we could probably get 15, maybe we'll get 10. So let's just bump this up to 80 million. We've got 80 million in the budget now. Chambers is also another 50-50 for me. Between him and Holding, I can't decide who is the better player. And one of them, I think, has to go. I think one of them has to go. And I think I would prefer Holding to leave, and we would keep hold of Chambers. I think Chambers is just a better all-round footballer. He can play at right back. He can play in midfield. I think Holding's days are numbered, and I feel really bad about it because Holding is such a cool guy. I see him in the Arsenal videos. I really like what he's about, but he's just not good enough. So maybe it's a loan deal, but then we've got Mavropanos out on loan. Again, I haven't included him in this because I'm sure he'll go out on loan again, or we'll sell him. Let's say that we have sold Mavropanos, it'd be another 5 million or something like that. It's not really worth talking about, is it? But Holding, I think if we were to sell him, he's just not good enough. And I know it's sad because he's a nice guy and he could become good, but we don't have the capabilities, I think, now to carry him any further. I think it's done. But let's just say we got 20 million for him. We could probably get more. He's English. That comes at a premium. But let's just say now we're on 100 million. I mean, that's 100 million. Just like that, from selling a few players. Now, we have Players out on loan. Mkhitaryan, let's say we got 10 million for him as well. 110 million. Then we've got El Neni. Let's say we got 5 for him. That's 115 million. We've got a few other players out on loan that could gain us some money and we won't need to play them. But I'm just going to leave it for the sake of this video because it doesn't matter too much. 115 million in the kitty. And that's not too bad at all. So now, let's talk about players that I think we should be bringing in. The first one is going to be Thomas Partey. Let me go ahead and move him in. He comes in at midfield. Of course, he's a superb player. And we would have to spend around 55 million. So let's go ahead and should we call it 60 for add-ons and stuff like that? Is that what we should be doing? Do you know what? Just for the sake of the video, again, I'm overestimating things just to make it a little bit more of a challenge almost, but it's to prove that this can be done. Let's just say that knocks us down to 55 million. We've just lost a serious chunk of our money. Do you know what? In fact, let's go down to 50 for the bonuses and extra things like that, okay? But that brings in Thomas Partey. He would be fantastic in this squad. I would partner him up with maybe Granit Xhaka, Guendouzi, but most likely I'd go with Torreira and Partey. Two, I guess you could say, defensive-minded players. Maybe they wouldn't go well together, but I think Torreira is a better box-to-box option than Guendouzi and Granit Xhaka, and I think Partey would be our defensive midfielder. He would cover our back four, and he would often drift wide, I'm sure, helping out Bellerin, who pushes too far forward, inevitably. And I think Torreira could really partner up with him well, but then we've got Willock, Xhaka, Guendouzi. Even Ozil could play a little bit of a deeper role now that he's not as physical, not as quick. And of course, you've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles. This is a balanced midfield. You know, we've got cover. We've got good options. We've got attacking players, defensive players. We've got a bit of both. And I think that is a big, big improvement. Up next, I would sign a centre-back. And not that one. Let me select the right player. I would bring in Gabriel. Now, I've talked about him in my last Arsenal video talking about the David Luiz contract. I mentioned this player, Gabriel, from Lille. Please go ahead and research this guy. I think he could be one for the future. I've looked at a lot of articles. I've read a lot about this guy. I've looked into his past clubs and performances. His stats are incredible. He's left-footed, which I think if we are going to bring in another centre-back, he should be left-footed. So we've got another one that can be alongside Mari. You know, if Mari gets injured or Gabriel gets injured, they can both cover each other. And Gabriel, man, this is going to sound mad, okay? I actually said this in the last video, but I cut it out because I felt a bit stupid. But his stats honestly come close to Van Dijk. Now, I'm not saying he's anywhere near as good as Van Dijk. Of course he's not. But if you look at his stats, and yes, he's playing in the French league, so I guess you could say it's a bit uneven. He is a seriously good player. He's very calm on the ball. He doesn't get many yellow cards. He doesn't give away many fouls, and I absolutely love that about this guy. And he would cost us, I think, around 30, maybe 35 million, something like that, which really isn't bad in today's market. And of course, we have Saliba joining. So Saliba, we've already bought him. He's been on loan at Saint Etienne for the season. He's had a few injury problems, but looks like he's fully fit. He's actually training with Arsenal now. Of course, the French league ended quite a few weeks ago, almost 2 months ago, I think. So he's been able to keep fit by himself and now maybe come and train with the Arsenal players. And there is a potential that he can start before the end of this season. As long as he gets registered, it might be that he's not allowed, but that'd be amazing if we could see him play. Hopefully, because of the circumstances, they will just allow it and make an exception. But I see a future partnership of Saliba and a new centre-back, a left-footed centre-back, whether that is Gabriel or someone else. But let's go ahead and knock off some money from this budget. Let's say with bonuses, it's going to cost us 35 million. So we're going to go down to 15. Oops, that's not right. Will you let me get rid of it? Thank you. We're going to go down to 15 million to sign Gabriel. Now, there is one player missing from all of this, and I think it's an attacking midfielder. A creative player that is reliable, someone that's got experience, has won trophies, has played for big clubs in his career, someone that we can get on loan. Just 1 year. 1 year with this player to help us get back to where we want to be, to get us that TV money we so desperately need from the Champions League or even just the Europa League again. And that player for me is someone like, I'm not saying it has to be him, but someone like Coutinho. Now, Coutinho, I think the problem with Coutinho is his wages. Now, we will, of course, be loaning him and paying probably just over half his wages from Barcelona. But let's say we go for someone else of his quality, just a loan deal. I think Coutinho would work really well. I know in the past he has said he likes Arsenal, he likes the way we play, and of course, he's available. Bayern are not going to be signing him permanently. They've decided not to. And Barcelona don't see him fitting into their squad. They've said that they'd be happy to potentially look at selling him. So what if we brought in Coutinho as our new attacking midfielder? And let's say we have to pay around 10 to 15 million as a loan option or a loan deal. You know, you have to pay up front for these kind of things. It would be a very expensive one. And then, of course, cover his wages. But let's just say it cost us, oh, I don't know, 15 million. And then would you look at that? We've done it. We've spent the budget roughly. And we would have a player like Coutinho. So let me go ahead and fix this up and we can see the full team in action here. Let's just do it roughly. It doesn't have to be perfect, even though I'm very, very OCD about this kind of thing. So I want to go Saka to Nelson and drag them into the middle here. Oops, I've got Lacazette in the top right just appearing there. Right, so let's say we started next season with this squad. Of course, we'd have Matt Macy as a third keeper as well, but no point including that. Let's just say this is what we started with next season. What do you guys think we could do with this team? And by the way, I've massively overestimated potentially how much we would be spending on these three players. This is just 3 signings, and of course it's selling players. But I've overestimated how much we pay, and I've also underestimated how much money we could achieve from Mkhitaryan, Socrates leaving, and other players that we would sell. We might be able to have more money than I've shown in this video, but we can still do something like this. And again, this is just fun. This is just for fun. I know it's not really realistic. I'm in Photoshop and I'm dragging players around and adding magical numbers. But the thing is, right, this isn't too far off, I think, what we could do. We only need to spend 100 million. We can raise 100 million by selling the dead wood. This would leave us with a very well-rounded squad. And honestly, I think this is a top 4, maybe a top 5, top 6 worthy squad. No sweat. I really honestly think we could be challenging for the top 4 with this squad. Now, how would I fit in this team? How would I do the formation? Now let's play around with that. What do you guys think on the left as the lineup? Aubameyang up top with Martinelli and Pepe on the wings. Coutinho as the centre attacking midfielder behind the strikers and the front 2 wingers there. Torreira and Partey behind. Tierney, Gabriel or another left-footed centre-back. Saliba, Bellerin and Leno in goal. And then look on the right. It is a strong bench as well. Now, how would I include these other players? Well, this is what it could look like. You could have Nketiah as the other striker. Saka as the other left midfielder. Nelson as the other right midfielder. Willock and Mesut as the other attacking midfielders there. Xhaka as another central midfield. Kolasinac, of course, as the backup left back. Ainsley, kind of a midfield or a right back. Doesn't really matter too much. Guendouzi goes in there as well. Now, David Luiz would not play as a centre back. In my opinion, I would use him as a midfielder. A defensive midfielder, and probably I'd put him in the middle and have 2 central midfielders next to him and not have the cam. But let's say David Luiz is shifted into midfield where he's not going to make too many mistakes. And even if he does, it's not going to be a goal straight away because we have time to react. Then we have Mari as the backup left centre-back. We've got Chambers as another centre-back. We've got Mustafi as another centre-back. And then, of course, Cedric Suarez as the backup right-back. And Martinez as the backup goalkeeper. Just look at it. This is not rocket science, and it honestly looks to me like a much better and well-rounded squad. Of course, it isn't as easy as doing what I've just done, but I reckon it could honestly work. I don't see why not. Why can't we do something like this? I would love to see it. It's 3 signings, 3 players that I think we could go for. Coutinho on loan or a player like him, someone as good as him with that kind of quality. Please, we are begging for it. For Ozil's last season, let's give him a chance to see how it's really done, okay? Because Coutinho would come in and I think he would do so well. And then, of course, Gabriel, the left centre-back, someone like him. He's big. He's a massive dude. He would be so good in the air. Left footed. There are other options out there. I want another left-footed centre-back, and I think Gabriel would be a great choice. He plays at Lille. I'm sure we've made some friends over there with the deal we did with Pepe, which they completely robbed us. 72 million? You're kidding me. Better be worth it in the future, which I think it will. But maybe Lille would do us a good deal on Gabriel or something like that. Maybe they'll take Socrates in a swap deal or something like that. And then, of course, Saliba comes in. He's going to be our new star signing next season. And we've already done that deal, which is obviously fantastic. But really, the main part of the puzzle for me is Partey. I think a central midfielder that can defend, can actually get forward as well, can cover Bellerin's too many forward run issues that he has. And I think Partey, for 55 million or whatever his release clause is, it is an absolute no-brainer. If we can convince him to join, we should do it. But thank you so much for watching this video. It's just a bit of fun. I really enjoy making these. But remember, right now, literally right now, I'm live on Twitch and we are about to watch Southampton versus Arsenal. It's going to be another loss and you guys can watch me get angry live. It's called a live watch-along. I don't show the game, but I'm talking over the top, watching it along with you guys. And I'd really appreciate as many of you as possible to come over and check me out and follow the stream. And I will see you tomorrow for another video. Thank you so much for watching.